Far away in a strange star system on the dusty red world of Velkar, the alien huntress Tala prepared for her mission. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the rocky plains. Tala stood tall and alert, her sharp eyes scanning the horizon. She was known across her people as the best tracker. No one could hide from her. Tala's mission was clear but strange. A human from Earth had come to Velkar. The humans were rare visitors to this part of space, and most Velkarians thought of them as reckless and strange. But this human was different. Stories told that he had ignored their laws and was heading toward the sacred death pool, a place that no outsider was allowed to visit. The elders of Velkar feared what this human might do there. Tala's mind raced. Why would a human risk so much? What was he looking for? She tightened her grip on her hunting staff, a weapon passed down through generations. It was not only a weapon, but a symbol of honor and protection. Tala had to find the human before he reached the pool. The red wind blew dust across the plains as Tala started her journey. She moved quickly and silently, using every skill she had learned since she was a child. The land was harsh and unforgiving, full of strange creatures and sharp rocks. But Tala was born for this world. She felt at home here, even when danger was near. Her first clue came near a cluster of tall purple plants. The human had walked through here recently. She saw broken stems and crushed leaves, signs that something large and clumsy had passed. Tala knelt and studied the footprints in the soft earth. They were unlike any Velkarian tracks, wider and rounder with toes instead of claws. These tracks belonged to him, Tala whispered. The human. She followed the footprints carefully, watching the sky for flying scouts and listening for the cries of wild beasts. The stories said the sacred death pool was guarded by ancient spirits, and that no one who entered the waters ever returned the same. Many Velkarians avoided it out of fear and respect, but Tala knew she had to stop the human before he caused trouble. As she moved through the rocky hills, Tala remembered the legends her grandmother told her. Long ago, the sacred death pool was said to be a gateway to another world. The waters glowed with strange light, and only the bravest or the most foolish dared to approach. Some said the pool could test the soul, showing a person their true self. Others believed it was cursed, a place of final judgment. Tala felt a shiver run down her spine. Was this human brave or foolish? She hoped to find out soon. Suddenly, her communicator beeped. A soft voice spoke. Tala, any sign of the human? Not yet, Tala replied, her voice steady. But I am close. The tracks lead toward the mountain range near the sacred death pool. Be careful, the voice warned. This is sacred ground. If he touches the pool, the consequences could be severe. Tala nodded, even though her partner could not see her. She felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. The human was more than a visitor. He was a challenge to her people's traditions and safety. As the sun dipped lower, Tala reached a narrow canyon where the air grew cooler. She paused and listened. Far ahead, she heard the faint sound of running water. Her heart quickened. The sacred death pool was near. She moved with more caution now, knowing that the human could be close. Suddenly, the footprints stopped at the edge of a cliff overlooking a deep blue pool. The water shimmered under the last light of day, glowing with a strange and beautiful light. The air smelled of wet stone and ancient earth. Tala's eyes narrowed. This was the place, the sacred death pool. She waited, watching and listening. Then a loud splash broke the quiet. The sound was clear and bold. Someone had jumped into the pool. Tala gasped. The human had arrived and was already breaking the sacred rules. Without hesitation, she followed the path down the cliffside, ready to confront the stranger. Her mind raced with questions. Why did he risk so much? What would he do next? And could she stop him before it was too late? The hunt was just beginning. Miles away from the dry red plains of Velkar, the human explorer, Jake stood at the edge of the sacred death pool. His heart pounded with excitement. The strange blue water shimmered under the soft light of the setting sun. Around him, tall stone pillars rose, covered with glowing symbols that seemed to hum with power. Jake was not like the other humans who traveled the stars. He was an adventurer, always searching for new experiences and challenges. When he heard stories about this alien world and its mysterious sacred death pool, he knew he had to see it for himself. The local Velkarians warned him not to go near it. They said it was dangerous, cursed, and forbidden. But Jake was not afraid of rules. He believed some things were meant to be tested. Standing at the edge, Jake looked down at the water. The pool was calm, but he could sense something alive beneath the surface. It was like the water was watching him, waiting. He smiled and took a deep breath. Then, with a laugh, he backed up a few steps, crouched, and prepared to cannonball in. As he jumped, the wind rushed past him, and time seemed to slow. He hit the water with a loud splash, sending ripples across the glowing surface. For a moment, everything was quiet beneath the water. Then, strange colors swirled around him like a moving light show. Jake opened his eyes and saw shapes, ancient images floating in the water's depths. They showed scenes of Velkar's past, great warriors, lost cities, and strange creatures. The pool seemed to be telling a story, one that only those brave enough to enter could understand. Suddenly, Jake felt a strong current pulling him deeper. He struggled but did not fight it. Instead, he let the water carry him down, trusting whatever forces controlled the pool. Above the surface, Tala reached the water's edge. Her eyes widened in surprise. The human had not just arrived, he had jumped in without hesitation. She did not know if he understood the risks. She prepared to follow him into the water but hesitated. The pool was sacred and dangerous. If the legends were true, no one entered the waters without facing a trial. Jake's thoughts raced as he sank deeper. He felt no fear, only curiosity and wonder. The images in the water shifted, showing him visions of the alien world and its people. He saw their struggles, their hopes, and their fears. He felt a strange connection growing between himself and this distant planet. At the same time, Tala summoned her courage and dove into the pool. The cold water shocked her at first, but she quickly adjusted. Her strong arms and training helped her swim toward the human. Underwater, she saw the glowing images, too. It was unlike anything she had experienced. Human, she called softly, swimming closer. You must leave now. This place is forbidden. Jake turned and smiled. I came here to learn, not to harm. What is this place? Tala shook her head. The sacred death pool is a test. Many have entered, and never returned the same. You do not understand our customs. Jake nodded. Maybe not, but I want to understand. I want to see what you see. For a long moment, the two of them floated in the glowing water, sharing the strange visions. Tala felt something change inside her, a new respect for the human's courage and curiosity. Jake felt a growing respect for the alien and her traditions. Suddenly, a pulse of light burst from the depths of the pool. The water around them began to glow brighter, and the images became clearer. Jake and Tala were no longer just observers. They were part of the story. The visions showed an ancient warning. The pool was a gateway, a place where different worlds could meet, but it was also a place of power that could be dangerous if not respected. The human's dive had awakened something old and important. As the light faded, Jake and Tala surfaced together, gasping for air. The pool was calm again, but both knew nothing would ever be the same. Tala looked at Jake with new eyes. You have changed the story of this place. What will you do now? Jake smiled, tired but determined. I will learn, and maybe together we can change the future. Tala nodded. Slowly, the huntress and the human had become unlikely partners, bound by the secrets of the sacred death pool, and their journey was only beginning. Tala and Jake climbed out of the sacred death pool together, the cool water dripping from their bodies. The sun had almost disappeared behind the mountains, leaving the sky painted in deep oranges and purples. The glowing symbols around the pool flickered softly in the fading light. Tala's heart still raced. The human had done what no one before had dared. He had jumped into the forbidden waters and somehow both had survived the pool's test. For a moment she felt uncertain. What did this mean for her people? For the rules that had guided them for centuries? Jake looked at Tala with a tired smile. "I know this place is sacred to you," he said quietly, "but I felt something powerful in the water. It was like the pool was alive." Tala nodded slowly. "It is alive, but it is also dangerous. Many have tried to enter, and many have been lost to its depths. The pool tests not just the body but the spirit." Jake wiped water from his face and looked around. "Then maybe it's time for new rules. Rules that include courage, curiosity, and understanding." Tala frowned. "Our traditions are strong. They protect us from harm. We cannot simply change them because one human challenges us." Jake's eyes shone with determination. "Maybe not. But sometimes change comes from challenge. If we don't grow, we stay trapped in fear." Before Tala could answer, a low rumble shook the ground beneath them. Dust fell from the cliffs, and a deep voice echoed from the stones. It was not the voice of a person, but of the ancien. T-World itself. "The sacred pool has spoken," Tala whispered, stepping forward with reverence. "The guardians of Velkar watch us now." From the shadows emerged figures draped in flowing robes, their faces hidden behind carved masks. They were the elders, keepers of the ancient laws and protectors of the planet's secrets. Their eyes glowed faintly, and they carried staffs that pulsed with soft light. Tala stepped between the elders and Jake. "This is the human who entered the sacred death pool. He has faced the test and lived." One elder spoke, voice calm but strong. "To break the ancient rule is no small thing. You have defied us, human. Why should we not punish you?" Jake met the elder's gaze without fear. "I did not mean to disrespect. I came here to learn, to understand your people and your world. If my actions bring change, then I accept the consequences." The elders murmured among themselves. Tala saw respect in their eyes, mixed with caution. The oldest elder raised his staff and said, "Very well. You will not be punished today, but you must prove your intentions are true. You must journey with Tala across Velkar and show that you seek harmony, not harm." Jake nodded. "I accept." Tala glanced at Jake, surprised by the decision. She had expected a harsher outcome but understood the elder's wisdom. Perhaps this was the way forward. The next morning, Tala and Jake set out on their journey. They traveled across the wide deserts and jagged mountains of Velkar. Tala showed Jake the beauty of her world, the glowing plants, the soaring creatures, and the ancient ruins hidden beneath the sands. Jake listened carefully, asking questions and learning with every step. He admired Tala's strength and knowledge. For her part, Tala began to see Jake not just as a reckless outsider, but as someone who respected her world and wanted to protect it. As they traveled, they encountered small villages where Velkarian families lived simply. Some villagers watched Jake with suspicion, but others smiled and welcomed him. Tala explained who he was and the reason for their journey. One evening, as they camped beneath the stars, Jake looked up at the alien sky. "There are so many stars out here," he said, softly. "It makes Earth feel small." Tala smiled. "Yes, but every world has its own story. Velkar's story is old and full of secrets. Perhaps now with you here we will write a new chapter." Suddenly, a distant howl broke the quiet night. Tala's eyes narrowed. "That is the cry of the shadow wolves. They roam near the cliffs, ahead." Jake stood, ready for whatever might come. "Then let's move carefully. I'm ready." Together, they prepared for the next part of their journey. Both knew that challenges lay ahead, not only from wild creatures but from those who feared change. As they rested, Tala felt a growing bond with the human who had dared to cannonball into forbidden waters. Their mission was no longer just about rules or tradition. It was about trust, courage, and the future of two worlds meeting in the vast universe. The journey had been long and difficult, but Tala and Jake finally stood once again at the edge of the sacred death pool. The place looked even more breathtaking up close. The water shimmered like liquid glass, glowing softly under the twin moons of Velkar. Around the pool, towering stone pillars stood like silent guardians, covered with ancient carvings that told stories no one living could fully understand. Tala's gaze was steady but filled with respect. "This place is not just water and stone," she said quietly. "It holds the memories of my people. The power here is ancient and deep. Many have tried to enter and failed. Some lost their lives. Others lost themselves." Jake looked around, taking in every detail. The soft glow of the blue water, the gentle hum that seemed to come from the stones, and the strange plants that glowed faintly in the night. "I feel that power too," he said. "It's like the pool is alive," Tala nodded. "It is alive, but it demands respect. That is why it is forbidden to most. Only those who are ready can face what lies beneath." Jake took a deep breath. "I came here not to disrespect but to understand, to see the truth beyond fear and stories." Suddenly, the ground beneath them rumbled softly, and the glowing symbols on the pillars flickered brighter. It was a sign. The pool was responding to their presence. Tala turned to Jake. "Are you ready?" Jake smiled, a mixture of excitement and calm in his eyes. "As ready as I'll ever be." Together they stepped closer to the water's edge. The air was cool, but the energy around the pool felt warm, almost welcoming. Jake looked at Tala. "Will you go in with me?" Tala hesitated. For centuries, no one had entered the pool with outsiders, but something about Jake's spirit convinced her. "Yes," she said finally. "We face this together." Jake nodded, and the two of them removed their outer garments, preparing to enter the pool as equals. As they slipped into the water, a soft glow surrounded them. The water was cool and clear, and as they moved deeper, the ancient carvings on the pillars seemed to come alive, telling silent stories through light and shadow. Beneath the surface, Jake felt the same powerful energy he had felt before. This time, though, it was different. He was not alone. Tala was beside him, her presence steady and strong. Together they moved deeper into the pool, the glowing light guiding their path. Suddenly the water around them began to swirl, and images appeared in the glow. They saw visions of the past, great battles fought to protect Velkar, moments of peace when the land flourished, and the creation of the sacred death pool itself. The pool was not just a place of danger, it was a place of memory and life, holding the very soul of the planet. Tala spoke softly. "The pool shows us what is true. It reveals our fears and hopes." Jake reached out and touched Tala's hand. "Then maybe it can show us a future too." As the visions faded, a calm settled over the water. Tala and Jake surfaced, breathing deeply and looking at each other with new understanding. Back on the shore, Tala wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. "You have proven your heart, Jake, but the pool's test is not over." Jake smiled. "I am ready for whatever comes." They prepared to leave. A soft light appeared in the sky, a sign from the elders watching from afar. The guardians of Velkar acknowledged their courage and the beginning of a new journey. Together, Tala and Jake walked away from the sacred death pool, knowing that what they had faced was only the first step. The true challenge was still ahead. Building trust between two very different worlds. The air was still in thick with anticipation as Tala and Jake stood near the edge of the sacred death pool once again. The night had deepened and the twin moons shone brighter, casting a soft silver light over the glowing waters. The atmosphere felt charged, as if the pool itself was waiting for something to happen. Jake looked down at the water, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This was no ordinary dive. The pool held secrets. Secrets that could change everything for both humans and Velkarians. He knew that what he was about to do was dangerous, but he also felt it was necessary. Tala watched him closely. She could see the determination in his eyes, the same determination she had seen in the bravest warriors of her own people. For all the rules and traditions she had followed, she knew that sometimes courage meant stepping into the unknown. "Remember," Tala said softly, "the pool will test you. It will challenge your spirit and your will. Do not fight it, let it show you what you must see." Jake nodded, his gaze steady. "I'm ready." With a deep breath, Jake stepped back a few paces, bent his knees, and launched himself into the air with a loud cannonball. The splash was huge, sending water flying in every direction. For a moment, the surface rippled wildly. Under the water, Jake felt the cold rush around him. But the cold was different. It was alive, moving with purpose. Lights danced beneath the surface, swirling around him like living colors. The water seemed to pulse with energy, and Jake felt a strange power growing inside him. He opened his eyes and saw visions forming in the glowing depths. Images of Velkar's past, great heroes, ancient battles, and lost cities passed before him. But the visions were more than just history. They were lessons, warnings, and hopes, all wrapped into one. Suddenly, a strong current pulled Jake deeper into the pool. He did not resist. Instead, he let the water guide him, trusting that the pool knew what it was doing. As he sank, he felt a connection forming, not just to Velkar, but to the entire universe. Above the water, Tala watched anxiously. She had entered the pool herself, following Jake closely. The waters here were powerful and mysterious, and she could feel them pressing against her, testing her strength. "Jake," Tala called softly, "remember who you are. Hold on to your courage." Deep underwater, Jake reached out and found Tala's hand. Their fingers closed around each other tightly. Together they faced the pool's test. Suddenly, the water around them brightened and a great light filled the depths. They saw a vision unlike any before. An ancient being, made of light and water, rising from the heart of the pool. Its eyes were kind but filled with endless wisdom. The being spoke without words, its message clear in their minds. "You have shown courage and respect. The pool has accepted you both. But the true journey begins now. Use what you have learned to bring your worlds together." The vision faded slowly, and Jake and Tala found themselves back near the surface. The pool was calm again, but their hearts were forever changed. They broke through the water, gasping for air and looking at each other with awe. Jake smiled. "I understand now. This place is more than a challenge. It is a bridge." Tala nodded. "Yes, and bridges must be built carefully. We have much to do." As they climbed from the pool, the glowing symbols around them shone brighter, as if celebrating the new path that had begun. Back on the shore, the guardians of Velkar awaited them. The elders stepped forward, their eyes filled with approval. "You have passed the test," the oldest elder said. "Now you carry the hope of two worlds. Be wise, be strong, and be united." Jake and Tala exchanged a look of determination. They knew the path ahead would be difficult. Old fears and doubts would not disappear easily. But together, they had faced the forbidden waters and come through stronger. The night air was filled with promise. The sacred death pool had given them a gift, not just knowledge, but a chance to change the future. And this time, neither of them would turn away. The air was heavy with quiet energy as Tala and Jake stood at the edge of the sacred death pool, their bodies still damp from the dive that had changed everything. Around them, the glowing symbols on the stone pillars pulsed softly, as if breathing with life. Neither Tala nor Jake spoke at first. The silence was filled with wonder and questions. Suddenly, the water began to ripple without wind, and a soft hum rose from the depths. The pool's light grew stronger, bathing the area in a blue glow that reached far into the night sky. Tala's eyes widened. She knew this was no ordinary moment. The pool was awakening something ancient. "Jake," Tala said, her voice steady, but full of awe. "The pool is alive. It is calling forth the spirit of our world." Jake nodded, feeling the pulse of energy in his bones. "What do you think will happen?" Before Tala could answer, a figure rose slowly from the center of the pool. It was made of shimmering water and light, tall and graceful. The figure's face was calm and kind, but its eyes held the wisdom of thousands of years. It was the ancient, guardian of Velkar, awakened by their courage and respect. The guardian's voice echoed in their minds, clear and gentle. You have passed the test of the sacred death pool. You have shown bravery, respect, and unity. Now you must listen and learn. Images flashed before Tala and Jake, visions of Velkar's history and future. They saw the planet's creation, the rise of the first Velkarian civilization, and the birth of the pool itself. The Guardian revealed how the pool held the memory of all life on Velkar, a sacred place that connected past, present, and future. The Guardian spoke again. Long ago your worlds were separate. Fear kept you apart, but the pool's power is a bridge, a chance to join your strengths and knowledge. Tala felt a deep warmth inside her chest. For years, she had guarded Velkar's traditions, believing separation was safety. Now she understood that openness could bring strength. Jake looked at the Guardian, hope shining in his eyes. How can we build this bridge? How can we bring our worlds together? The Guardian smiled gently. Trust is the first step. You must share your stories, your knowledge, and your fears. Learn from each other and teach your people to do the same. Only then will the true power of the pool be unlocked. As the Guardian's form slowly faded back into the water, Tala and Jake felt a new purpose fill them. They were no longer just individuals from different worlds. They were messengers of change and hope. Tala spoke softly. We must return to my people and tell them what we have seen. The old fears must be replaced with understanding. Jake nodded. And I will take this message back to Earth. We are stronger together. The pool's light dimmed, but the feeling of connection remained. Tala and Jake climbed out and stood side by side, looking out over the alien landscape bathed in moonlight. Do you think your people will listen? Jake asked. Tala smiled thoughtfully. It will not be easy. Change never is. But the courage we showed here, your cannonball dive, it was the first step. Now it is time to follow through. Jake looked at the stars above. Then let's not waste time. Together, they began the journey back to Velkar's main city. Along the way, Tala felt a new strength growing inside her, a blend of old tradition and new hope. As they traveled, they shared stories and dreams, learning more about each other's worlds and finding common ground. By the time they reached the city, Tala and Jake were ready to face the challenges ahead. They carried the ancient Guardian's message with them, a message of unity, trust, and the power of two worlds working as one. And though the path would be difficult, they knew they were not alone. The sacred death pool had awakened not just an ancient spirit, but a new future for Velkar and Earth alike. The city of Velkar lay spread beneath the twin moons, its glowing towers shining softly in the night. Tala and Jake walked side by side through the ancient streets, their minds full of hope and worry. The journey from the sacred death pool to the city had been quiet, but full of meaning. Now, the true test awaited them. Tala knew her people well. The elders were wise but cautious, deeply attached to tradition. Many would not accept change easily. Yet the message they carried was too important to ignore, a chance for unity between two very different worlds. As they entered the great hall of the elders, the air was thick with silence. The leaders sat in a circle, their eyes sharp and watchful. Tala stepped forward, feeling the weight of their gazes. My elders, she began, her voice steady. I bring news from the sacred death pool. The human has faced the test and survived. Together we have awakened the ancient spirit that protects our world. The elders murmured among themselves. One of them, the oldest and wisest, raised a hand for silence. Tell us, Tala, what did the pool reveal? Jake took a breath and spoke with respect. The pool showed us that fear has kept us apart too long. It told us that our worlds can be stronger if we learn to trust each other. We saw visions of unity, not division. A deep silence followed his words. The elders exchanged looks, some skeptical, others thoughtful. Finally, the oldest elder spoke. Change is never easy. Our traditions have kept Velkar safe for centuries. How can we be sure this new path will not bring danger? Tala met his eyes. Because it is not just about change, it is about respect. The human's courage has shown us that new ways can honor the old. The pool's power is a gift, but only if we use it wisely. One of the younger elders stepped forward. We have feared the human presence. But if this is true, if our worlds can join in peace, perhaps we must listen. Jake nodded. I understand your fears. My people also struggle with the unknown. But we must try. Together we can build a future where both our peoples thrive. The elders looked at Tala and Jake, weighing their words. Then, slowly, the oldest elder lowered his hand. Very well. We will open a council to explore this new path, but all must take part. Every voice heard. Tala felt a wave of relief and hope. This was the beginning they had prayed for. In the days that followed, Tala and Jake worked together to prepare for the council. They gathered stories from Velkarians and humans alike, sharing lessons learned and dreams for the future. The council meeting was held beneath the glowing stars. Representatives from Velkar's many tribes and from Earth joined together in a circle of trust. Tala spoke of courage, Jake of discovery, and both of them of respect. The discussions were long and sometimes difficult. Old fears surfaced, but so did new hopes. Slowly, walls began to fall. At one moment, a Velkarian elder reached out and took Jake's hand. Your courage has changed my heart, she said. Perhaps we can learn from each other after all. Jake smiled warmly. That is the greatest gift of all. As the night deepened, the council reached a new agreement to protect the sacred death pool together, to share knowledge between their worlds, and to build a future where fear no longer ruled. Tala and Jake stood together as the first rays of dawn touched the city. The path ahead was still full of challenges, but now they walked it not as hunter and stranger, but as partners. The sacred death pool had brought them together, but it was their respect and courage that would shape the future. And somewhere deep, in the glowing waters, the ancient guardian watched, content that its purpose had been fulfilled.